So other than the fact that I've been doing a lot of on-chain investigations for projects that drug and are blatant scams, I do like to actually check in new stuff that come around because yes, indeed, there are so many rogues, so many scams, and so many misrepresentations that we sometimes forget that there could be, other good stuff around. Now, I'm not saying this one is, I'm just saying that I also like to, go over and do some quick video overviews about some of these projects that come out, are either recently or they have been running for some time. So this one actually launched yesterday. I decided to look into it. Now, there are lots of mechanics in this that you would see elsewhere. The only thing that stood out for me here are their plans. Okay, so in order to participate, you'd need to buy whatever they call a BNB node. Now, you guessed it, in order to purchase one of those, you'd need to buy it with BNB. And each one of them would cost you about 0.01 BNB. You can purchase as much as you'd like. And the reward you'll be getting for purchasing one of these nodes is up to 300%. So you're not going to be able to compound all of that. You just will be claiming up until 3 times whatever you deposit. And that brings me to the revenue streams, right? So you have the basic one, so the daily node reward, 1% a day, up to 300% max payout. So everything that is gonna come up next are more marketing oriented, i.e. referral based. So the second one is called the direct referral commission, meaning you've seen this before. There are 5 downlines called 5 generations. You'd earn 10% from their node purchases, line 1, then 2, 1, 1, 1. So on and so forth, up until that fifth generation, sorry. And then you have the DNR commission, the daily node reward commission. So whenever the person you referred generates some daily dividends, you're gonna get at the first level 30%, and then it scales down all the way to 1%, and there are 20 of them, 20 generations, so to speak. Now there are more details in the white paper. I'm gonna let you check them in particular. So, and then you have 2 more loyalty bonuses. You have the daily top sponsor pool and the daily whale pool bonus. So the first one, 5% of all the node purchases are gonna be put aside and rewarded every 24 hours to the top referral. Now the scale of this is not 100% certain. And then you have the whale bonus, which is 2.5% also taken out. So you have a total of 7.5% that will be taken out of your entry in BNB nodes. And this one is gonna be distributed to all the so-called whales. Now a whale by nature here is someone who owns 25,000 nodes. In BNB terms, that's about 250 BNB that he contributed to the protocol. All right, so as you can see from a first glance, this is more marketing oriented at the beginning because like I said, they have big plans. So that's what we're gonna talk about next. So they do have a full-blown white paper, so to speak, or documentation, where you can check everything I just mentioned in a bit more detail oriented. So you can, for example, if you want to know exactly how much percentage you'll be getting with each generation when it comes to referral bonuses and commissions, you can do that right here. Now, from a security perspective, they have also been audited by a company called Web3 Audits. So you can get the full-blown report here. But just to highlight a few things, so yeah, this company made the audit, and they couldn't find any security issue from a severity perspective, starting from low to medium to high to very high to critical, meaning so they couldn't find anything, and they gave it a score of 98%, meaning from all optional points, there's nothing that can be tampered with when it comes to the contract address. Now, let's move on and talk about the things that I mentioned at the beginning. So the plans they have, the things that they want to bring forward after phase 1, because phase 1 is this. They launch, they do a small soft launch, they let the contract run, marketing oriented, so on and so forth, and then they can proceed. So speaking of that, the contract, like I said, is live. There's about 25.6K. Let's do a quick refresh. So 25.75K. So it's still very early from a numbers perspective, but again, we'll talk about the risks later, right? So let's go back to the future plans that these guys are gonna roll with. So the second phase is what they call ePush 2. So ePush 2 is more building geared, meaning the plans are And the timeline is starting from the 1st of July all the way to the end of the year. We're talking 2023. So there's about 2 quarters overall, if you count the months. So they want to launch their own layer 2 chain called the BNB Nodes network. They also want to launch a decentralized exchange that will also, facilitate the project that they will be launching on the Launchpad, which is their other product that we're gonna reference this soon, which people can trade tokens. You know how a DEX works, hopefully. They also want to launch a lending platform, and they want to also launch their own token, which most likely will power the chain. Through the nodes, of course, because that's also something that we're going to be referencing. So that is Epoch 2. The third one is called Collaboration, and this one has a timeline starting from basically this year all the way to October 2024. So those two timelines coincide. However, we're not sure how they're gonna plan out. So this one, you guess it from the title, there's gonna be some business development programs, so more partnerships that will be implemented. Like I said, there will be a launchpad. I specified this. So this will also support the fact that if there's gonna be a blockchain, a launchpad will launch a project which can be traded on the DEX, and it's on top of this layer 2 chain. And of course, to complement all of this, these projects that are going to be built, or these dApps that are going to be built on top of this, are also going to bring more revenue streams. So this will all lead and conclude to a self-sustaining node service at some point, where they're going to remove all of these marketing programs, starting from the daily bonus, the referral bonus, the top sponsor pool, and the whale pool. So at this point, if all of this happens and they actually succeed, they will remove all of this and just keep the daily node bonus, which is, the main selling point of all of this. Because if you've ever seen how a blockchain generates revenues, you will know that it does so through the launch pads, through the several dApps that are gonna be working on the blockchain, because they're gonna have to interact with these dApps and pay gas fees, which are paid in the native asset. And then those gas fees are going to be distributed to all the people who keep the network secure, so on and so forth. But we're going to talk about this soon, and we're going to understand how is this even possible and if this is feasible, right? So let's roll back a bit to discuss whatever the project mainly is about, right? So the so-called BNB nodes that you're going to be buying are not essentially what they are from a validator perspective. So let me explain. If you're not familiar with this, a validator node is something that you actually have, or you would have, and that would store the history of a certain blockchain and also be a way for you to validate new transactions. And for you to have this node, there are actually requirements. So each blockchain has its own requirements, namely ETH, Solana, Polygon, BSC, etc. So each one of them has special requirements, and usually they're expensive from a hardware and software perspective. And they are. So in this case, you owning one of these nodes is not gonna enable you to validate transactions whenever they're gonna release the blockchain, if that will ever happen again, So what I think will be the case here is that whenever there will be many nodes, again, between quotation marks, running and earning that 1% a day, you will get the token that they will most likely release, and that token will act in a proof of stake type of manner and will most likely be delegated to the few validators that will most likely run the blockchain. All right? So delegating is something else. Delegating is you handing those tokens into a certain pool, staking them, and aiding into verifying the transactions as well, but you don't need to do anything from a hardware and software perspective, And then you're gonna earn a certain APR because you're staking your tokens. And that APR varies, of course, depending on demand. So if there are more transactions and a moderate number of delegators, validators, your APR increases, and the opposite applies. So there's a correlation between that and this. And APR varies from chain to chain, and this is mainly derived from gas fees when people transact on the said blockchain through the dApps and everything else. So this is what will most likely happen. Now again, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know how these nodes are going to be supporting the network, but most likely there will be a gateway to get this token, stake it, and then support the network. Now perhaps there's an underlying notion here that I don't know, right? So perhaps these nodes, because there will be so many of them, like I said, will all be delegated to specific pools of validators, and they will be used to run the blockchain. Again, it could be this or it could be the token. So let's see. Knowing this, keep in mind that there needs to be a lot of money involved if these 3 bullet points would ever come to fruition, all right? So a lot of money needs to be pulled in, so much more than whatever the contract balance holds right now. So there's a lot of funding that needs to happen. Perhaps this contract will explode, they will take some money out of it. I don't know what will happen, but we'll see. There's a big question mark, so treat this as a minor for now. Please do so. Everything new until proven that it will actually do what it says it will is just a minor, it's just a game, an experiment. Russian roulette, crypto-wise, that's it, all right? Me personally, full disclosure, I'm gonna put, I think, about 250 BUSD worth of BNB in this, just to play the game, just to take the huge risk, because with all of these, there's about 0.1% that you'll actually make some money out of it, you know? So, again, the higher echelon of risk capital, and I'm not gonna put a referral link, by the way, just FYI, but if you do decide to enter this, you can, you know, talk about it in the community chat or even message me personally. So feel free to do so, but no referral links, like I said. All right, hope you stuck till the end. See you in the next one. Have a good one.